Congratulations on your decision to become a philosophy major in college. I'm sure you'll have zero doubts about this important life choice that will significantly affect your future. But if you're already on this video, then I'm sure you've gone through the pros and cons already about choosing to major in philosophy. So alright, you're in it, you're committed. What now? Well, as someone who graduated with a philosophy degree, which was technically a Bachelor of Arts degree with an emphasis in philosophy, I have some tips and tricks on how to survive and thrive in this unique field of study. But is philosophy really that unique of a major as compared to other areas in university? I think so. In other fields of study, you'll most likely be graded on reaching the correct answer. The destination will beat the journey. Whereas in philosophy, it's really your own thinking that's going to be evaluated. Granted, you need to accurately portray the ideas and arguments of philosophers, but a professor, at least a good philosophy professor, will really want to grade you on how you grapple with the ideas, how you argue for or against them. Again, you will absolutely be graded on accurately portraying the ideas of others. However, whether or not those ideas are right or wrong and how you determine that is also being graded. In a math class, you aren't going to have to argue whether 6 times 6 is 36, but you will have to argue whether you think Plato's theory of forms is correct or not, and what it even means to be correct. Another aspect that differentiates philosophy from other fields of study is just how abstract it could get. Look, I'm not a physical sciences person, but if you show me a bone on a skeleton and give me a name, then yeah, I can maybe memorize that picture in my mind. But to conceptualize something like Spinoza's God or early Wittgenstein's thoughts on language is something else. Not easy to tie to concrete physical representations. I mean, sure, we could point to examples to illustrate points, but nonetheless, ideas in philosophy are going to be a bit more abstract than in other fields. Okay, so those are two major differences philosophy is going to have compared to other fields of study in college. And the takeaway here is that philosophy can be a uniquely challenging thing to learn. But that's okay, because that's where this video comes in, to give you some friendly advice, or unfriendly advice if your favorite philosopher is Descartes, in order to succeed as a philosophy major. So number one, do not be afraid to consult secondary sources. Seriously, I had to optionally buy books to understand the books I was already required to buy for class. You're going to be reading these primary texts of very old people who sometimes aren't very great writers. A secondary source can help put those ideas in a way that is more comprehensible to the modern student. Now, this does not mean you could just forego the primary source though, absolutely not. For one, you actually gotta verify that the secondary source is correct, and the only way to do that is by reading the philosopher directly. And secondly, by struggling through these archaic texts, grappling with the arguments, synthesizing it in your head, this is not only going to make reading these older texts easier, it's also going to improve your own critical reading skills, and can influence the way you form your own arguments. I personally have been strongly influenced by Spinoza's ethics, for example, whenever I want to write something persuasive. I like the way he structures his arguments. Still, don't be afraid of consulting those secondary sources. However, you also got to be heavily skeptical and scrutinize those sources, finding those who can accurately convey what a philosopher's ideas are. For example, School of Life and Crash Course are pretty good entry-level secondary sources, but even then you gotta be on your guard. I mean, Crash Course Philosophy straight up calls Epicurus a Stoic philosopher. You gotta catch these things and just be careful. I'd recommend a respected general history of philosophy textbook, like The Great Conversation, and for online resources, I've been a big fan of the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. One source you should absolutely avoid though is this channel. If you cite me at all, you deserve an F. Okay, for tip number 2, I next want to talk about an attitude, a mindset shift that I think is helpful in philosophy, and that is humility. Look, I know you're smart. You actually read, and literacy rates are bad, and no one knows about Nietzsche more than you. But look, when you get to college, you're inevitably going to come across some ideas that are weird and confusing. So you got to be comfortable with saying these 3 magic words: I don't know. If you don't say those magic words, then you're going to have some sort of crisis of pride, and you may attach yourself to incorrect interpretations. Because you know everything, and there's no way you could be wrong. However, if you go into each class telling yourself that you don't know and you're ready to learn, then you will get more big-brained because information is absorbed much easier that way. But even if you do well and pass your classes and graduate, I'd never give up on that humility. I mean, look, I've been running this philosophy channel for 5 years now, and I constantly keep telling myself that there's a lot I don't know and that I oftentimes am a dumbass. I don't do this to appeal to some cringe, self-deprecating humor. I do this to keep myself in the right mindset, so that I could be open to being confused, being corrected, being taught. And besides, being a humble person is going to help you in this next tip, number 3, which is to make friends. When I was in law school, it sucked ass. I mean, it was really academically stressful. For those of you who don't know, there aren't necessarily lectures in law school. What they do is that you're assigned some cases to read, and then during the next class, the professor would randomly call on someone to give a detailed explanation of the case. So yeah, it was pretty high stakes. But what helped me keep going was that I could suffer along with some other students, kind of like a pact born from communal pain. Now I think the more apt description of philosophy major friendships are pacts born from communal confusion. You learn something, you kinda get some parts, maybe not other parts, then you and some friends get together and talk about it. Maybe you got it all wrong, or maybe your friend is the one with the incorrect interpretation. You all can work together to figure out exactly what this philosopher is trying to say. And then on top of that, you could just talk about these ideas casually as they apply to your lives. Is Aristotle's system of ethics a good idea to live by? How can we implement them practically? Is Aristotle a big dummy who we shouldn't listen to? Stuff like that. Don't suffer in silence and take advantage of the fact that you're being grouped together with other open-minded deep thinkers. I mean, that's a great opportunity to make friends not only in an academic sense, but just in the sense of general friendship. Finally, for tip number 4, this is kind of a weird one. But don't neglect life. You might have this idea of the philosophy student hunched over in their dorm room, isolated, reading alone. And yes, there's going to be a lot of reading. But don't neglect life, especially in college. Go out, go to parties, meet people, make mistakes, create experiences. Now you may be saying, philosophy tunes, that's great and all, but that just seems like general life advice, and not one tailored to succeeding as a philosophy major. Oh, how presumptuous you are. I think it's crucial for philosophy majors to have a good stock of diverse life experiences in order to help them work through some of the ideas you encounter in philosophy. For example, let's take the classic Kantian ethics versus utilitarianism. A person who engages with life will inevitably come across these ethical dilemmas, and then you can apply this abstract debate to these experiences and memories. Also, by living life, you get to meet people outside the realm of philosophy. People with common sense that could bring you out of the abstract mode and back down to earth. You may also meet other scholarly people, but in other fields such as mathematics or physics. I'm pretty ass when it comes to math, so when I come across ideas in the philosophy of mathematics, it's great that I have friends to turn to so that I could better understand what the fuck is being said. So bottom line, going out and experiencing life and meeting new people is not only good general life advice, but it could greatly benefit your academic life as well. So those are 4 tips I have for any philosophy major in order to succeed. Consult secondary sources at times, be humble, make friends, and live life. Hopefully this helps. If it somehow made things worse, then feel free to dislike this video and leave a hate comment below. And I nevertheless wish you a beautiful rest of your day.